Hey there, lady. My name is Molly Conley, and I'm devoted to helping women reinvent their love lives. Whether that's after divorce, dating on and off the apps, or in their committed relationship. Why? Because I've been there. I'm a former college athlete who filed for divorce 3 years into marriage, swam in the online dating pool into my late 30s, and now I'm married to the man of my spreadsheet dreams who I met 4 months before the world shut down. As a dating and relationship coach, I help my clients build a foundation filled with clarity, connection, and confidence, knowing Mr. Right is worth waiting for. Each week on the podcast, I'll bring you love life insights and savvy guests where you will receive the courage to release programmed limiting beliefs, discover patterns and behaviors restricting you from finding and attracting quality men, and ways to choose yourself first so you can build a foundation for a healthy relationship with yourself and a partner. Hello there, lady. Welcome back to Reinventing the Arena. I'm your host, Molly Conley, a dating and relationship coach helping women reinvent their love lives. In today's episode, we're going to go a little deep. This might be an episode that you're going to want to save and come back to. So if you're listening while you're driving, working out, or just taking a break at work, that's fantastic. But I highly recommend that when you can, come back to this episode and take notes wherever you like to keep them. Sometimes when I have an episode from a podcast that I really enjoy, I go back and I grab my journal and I put my notes in there so that I can use them for further inspiration or for further inner work when I am journaling. So on Tuesday, I shared 3 ways you can start to achieve clarity in your love life. And today I'm going to talk about intention and self-image. Typically, this work of self-image and sense of self is for my clients when they are interested in connection coaching, which is 6 months of reviewing certain areas of their lives, like programming, which I brought up in our last episode. Together, you and I reconnect with your sense of self to develop a deeper understanding of that personal programming, personal behaviors, and then, of course, the dating and relationship patterns that are affecting your love life. And yes, if you're excited to talk about intention setting, this is part of that new year, new choices sort of mindset. But if you're into astrology, today is the new moon, which is ironically on January 11th. It's a wonderful time to set intentions. And I'm not going to lie, I was not planning to have an intentions podcast on a new moon, but this is the perfect time to practice. Intention setting is more than just a New Year's resolution. Intentions are best when you already have the clarity, as I discussed in the last episode. It is also critical to have clarity so that you can date with intention, so that you can be present in your relationships, so that you can continue to grow into the woman that you are becoming. So, who you see within your love life vision. Because if you're listening to this podcast, there is no way that you are a woman who has a fixed mindset, a woman who might think, I don't want things to change. I'm satisfied with the status quo. This is all that there is. More than likely, you know there is more to life than what's going on right now. You know that there's a man out there for you. You know that you are worthy and you deserve love. You know that you want something else in your love life. This is called a growth mindset. With you being in a growth mindset, it allows you to make those new choices with clarity and date with intention. And maybe you're like, Molly, I got all that, but what about this self-image thing? The self-image is what you identify as. They can come out as I am statements, such as, I'm a woman, I'm a sister, a daughter, mother, I'm a best friend. So there really can be high level or generalized. But today I want to mix intention with self-image to go to that deeper level. Yet I also want to mix in clarity because by doing this, it's going to allow you to start setting yourself up for success for your future self, for who you are becoming in your love life. And so an example of this would be, I am a woman who is worthy and capable of being loved. When you say affirmations that you can intellectually know are true and emotionally feel true to yourself, It's easier to rewire your brain from that programming I mentioned in earlier episodes. So, neural pathways are built in your brain at an early age, and most of them are formed when you're probably between the ages of 1 and 7. And some people even say 1 to 10. So, who you identify as is very centered around who you were as a child. This is why, if you say, I'm a woman who is worthy and capable of being loved, and you feel into that statement, it can give every single woman listening to this podcast a different mix of emotions. Some women are going to feel so confident and proud to be in that sort of energy in that statement. Other women are going to maybe have other emotions come up. Maybe they realize in the past that they didn't feel that they were worthy or capable of being loved, or maybe they were even told that. It's a very wide range of what shows up for you when you create these I am statements. So, if you've been in my world for a while, I never have touched on this as much because it can get a little bit traumatic and heavy for some people. But these are the areas you have to look into in order to have those emotions rise to the surface and discover what is possibly holding you back in your love life vision, in your relationships, and when you are dating. So, if you do not feel that you are capable or worthy of love, you're going to show up in that energy subconsciously. And you're going to attract men who is going to bring that out in you. They'll say things maybe like they love you, but their actions don't really match their words, or maybe their emotions don't match those statements. These relationships will keep you on the relationship roller coaster, which I had mentioned in a past episode this summer, or actually last summer, but I will include that in the show notes. Having a strong sense of knowing of who you are is extremely important when dating and when you're trying to improve your relationships, because you'll be able to have more compassion for yourself and for others while still holding firm in your boundaries. If you started this podcast and said to yourself, I already know who I am, but this discussion of self-image has pulled some things up, like, oh, I didn't think of that. I never felt those feelings. I haven't worked through an I am statement that makes me feel proud and confident and stand in my power in the way that's still compassionate and attracting the type of partner that I want. Then you might not know yourself as much as you thought. And trust me, every person experiences this and will continue to experience it. I am currently in a part of my life where my identity is slightly shifting, and that's beautiful. So, as you continue to enjoy life and have different experiences come into your reality, you are going to have the opportunity to change your self image into who you want to become. This is why each and every day you have a choice. Do I show up as who I currently am, or can I show up as who I currently am with the intention to make a slight change where I can grow? So let's say you're an introvert and being in a social setting makes you feel super nervous. It's having the clarity of saying, what social settings make me feel nervous? How many people in a social setting makes me feel nervous? What thoughts are coming up for me that make me feel nervous in a social setting? And even going a little bit deeper and saying, where does all that come from? This level of clarity will allow you to connect to the person that you want to be. If you want to feel comfortable in a social setting, it's starting to connect those dots. Now that I have all the clarity from all those questions and the answers of like where this came from, now I can intentionally not only take action, but I can stay present in the moment to help myself intentionally show up as that new person that I am becoming. So I like to give these different examples in life sometimes because growing within relationships is so much more difficult to see. It's easier to see when you're going to school and say, oh, I suck at math and I'm going to study math. It's a very basic way to grow, right? It's the same thing in your career. You do very similar growth patterns like that because you can see the growth. It's the same thing with health and nutrition. You can physically see the changes in our body, but in relationships, it's mostly all unseen. It's going to be more mental and emotional than physical growth. So if you've listened to these podcasts before where my husband joins me, or maybe I have shared something on Instagram or within an email, and you say, I really want a relationship like that. I am really inspired by that relationship. And you see the end result. not what I put into myself to get this relationship that is still growing because we value growth as a couple, because we understand that we are not people who stay in a fixed mindset. So, this is where your love life vision and dating with intentional is so critical so that you can have that next step for growth. Now, I'm going to share a story that some of you may know, but I got married at 26 to someone that everyone else wanted me to marry, and I was divorced by 29. He had cheated on me with numerous women, and coming to terms with that was very difficult for me as a person. I am very loyal to my relationships, so it completely ruined me as a person. I had what I thought were, two choices: either stay in the relationship, always question what he's doing, and shove it under the rug, or I could stay in the relationship, go to therapy, and hope for the best. Obviously, neither of those were my choices, but I took actions in those areas and had to come up with a new choice, which was to choose myself because I learned I could not be with someone I did not trust. I swam in the online dating pool for a really short amount of time right after that because I started dating men who matched what I thought I was. So, because my ex husband cheated on me, it was what I would like to say evidence that I was unworthy of his love. So, this subconsciously allowed that to take over my I am statement and my self image. So, I dated people who were just looking for a relationship and not a long term romantic relationship turning into marriage. When my second relationship of this sort of transition ended, I had already been divorced for about 5 years, and I had never fully experienced what it was or what it was like to love myself or to even just choose myself in this new area of growth. So that is where I decided the common denominator in these relationships and what the issues may be from was me. I had to figure out me in order to find the person that I wanted to be with. This took me another 3 or 4 years swimming in that online dating pool, going on date after date, and turning bitter into like that's no men are left in my town sort of bitterness stage. I came to the conclusion that I was going to have to move out of my city in order to find true love. And I decided to make a bet with my friends and family. So I started applying to jobs out of state for over a year. I sadly had stayed in that bitter stage for so long that I dated with the intention of me being right. I would go on dates with hopes that this man would be better and that he would hopefully be different. But deep down, I already had that intention that there was no good men left in my town and I'm going to move. No matter what those men had going on for them, no matter what areas were similar with what I was looking for, my intention was stronger. It had already developed into my self image that I was going to be right. And when you have been feeling incapable and unworthy for so long, it makes so much sense to stand confidently and say, I am right. This is part of the bitter stage. When I finally realized what I was doing, I decided that I am the only one who can control myself. I am the only one who can control my thoughts, my feelings, my actions. I get to choose how I respond or if I decide to react. So I made a new choice because of the growth that I had learned. And that is when I came up with my system, my process, my methodology of finding my unicorn of a husband. And this was my spreadsheet. At this moment, I once again had to shift my self image. It became, I am going to find the man that is meant for me, and I do not care how long it takes. I was determined to prove everyone else wrong. I did not need to rush. I did not need to hurry up and settle down. I did not need to settle for what I didn't want just because of someone else's expectations of how a woman should be, or when a woman should get married, or when women should have babies. I'm not living in their reality, and they are not living in mine. I was stepping into this woman a year before the pandemic. So, for those of you that don't know this, I worked on my spreadsheet for about 3 years and found my husband 4 months before the world shut down. And the day that the world shut down, I moved in with him. That same year, we got engaged. The next year, we got married. We celebrated our 2-year anniversary last October, and now we're in it to win it together because we understand the shit that both of us went through in order to find each other. This is important for you ladies to know. As you continue to grow into the woman that you are becoming, you are going to attract more men who are attracted to the woman that you are becoming. And I will guarantee you, the more you work on yourself, the more you start to say, I deserve more, I am capable of more, I am worthy of more. You are going to find a man who's doing the exact same thing for himself. You will no longer entertain or settle for like a dime a dozen man, a cookie cutter man, or the average Joe. And you are going to be the woman who enjoys having these opportunities of growth. And that is why you deserve a man who's exactly like that. This is why I 100% believe in my process and methodology, because after I found my husband, I had all my single friends who were also just like me, almost 40 years old, asking me, how did I do it? I sent them copies of my spreadsheet. I showed them what to do. I showed them how I did everything. I was still becoming a life coach at this time. Like I was still getting my certification. And you know what happened? None of those women found their man. And I was honestly baffled. I was like, I showed you how to do it. Like what happened? Why did where did you fall down? Like where did you get stuck? But it wasn't until I introduced this exact spreadsheet system to 2 clients of mine last year and started to walk them through the process that they became curious and asked different questions, which made me realize there was no intention behind my friends doing that work to get clarity. They just used it as a quality list. They used it as a system to say the same sort of thing that I was saying in my bitterness stage, which was that there was no good men left in our town. And as I introduced this to a few more women, some of them went back to their old ways. And that was when I realized they needed help staying accountable. They needed to be able to self-coach themselves through this process like I did. Back when I created the spreadsheet, I wasn't even in coaching at the time. And it wasn't until further on when I was really getting focused and determined that I was into my coaching program, but I still didn't see how they overlapped. And I didn't see how my determination, my actions, my responses, or my reactions to dates would put me in this back and forth situation or like a chess match in my love life. But the more that I've been coaching, the more that I've been working on myself, and the more I've been helping women find the man they want to be with, they had to learn how to attract these men by uncovering their own self-image and creating it with intention and clarity. Made me realize it's time to bring this full circle into a workshop where I can give my all to women for them to make a clear choice of how they want to continue going through life with their love life vision and dating. So ladies, I cannot stress this enough, but if you're dating without clarity, if you're dating without intention, you will not be able to find the love you truly desire because you're not doing the deeper work. You're not uncovering what is blocking you. And I didn't understand that until I started doing my own inner work. Yes, it takes time, but what it takes even more of is patience and determination. If you want something bad enough, I know you can get it. I know this because I've seen it in other ways that women do it. They do it with their career. They do it with wanting to have a family. They do it with wanting to buy a house. I see it because I see the physical changes. Just as you can see it everywhere in either your life on and off screen. And so it's your turn to show up for yourself, to do the work that no one else can see, that only will come out once you have started to really integrate this work with intention into your life. You'll stop reacting and you're going to start responding. You're going to stop attracting men who aren't a good fit for you. You're going to stop settling for what walks into your reality, and instead you're going to put up a boundary and say, no, thank you. I know I'm a better match for someone else because of the woman I'm becoming. If you're looking for this kind of support, accountability, and conviction, get into my world. I am here to coach you. I am trying to help you. Take the next step and join me in my workshop that starts on January 20th called Man of Your Spreadsheet Dreams Workshop. You are going to have two 90-minute Zoom calls. The first one is going to be Saturday morning at 10:30 Central Time. And then the second one is going to be on Sunday at 12 p.m. Central Time. The first hour of both of those, I'm going to teach you and show you my process, my methodology. And then the last 30 minutes is going to be opening it up for Q&A and hot seat coaching. And for those of you who have not done hot seat coaching, you basically come to me with a topic and I'm going to coach you in a very quick manner for probably like 10, 15 minutes max, depending on your topic. If you're unable to make those, you can always watch the replay because you'll be added into a Facebook group that I'm creating next week. But if you do join live, you're going to be entered to win a 90-minute session with me. And this is where you and I can dive into anything we covered in the workshop. And what's amazing about this is that Man of Your Spreadsheet Dreams is actually part of my Clarity coaching program. It's 4 one-on-one coaching sessions within that coaching program, but you're going to get 2 of them because the next 2 after that require even deeper work. So in that Facebook community, you can rewatch those calls. You can also ask any question and I'll be responding within the group so everyone can learn from you and my response. You will be receiving your own spreadsheet to work through as well as a relationship reflection document that will be within the Facebook group on Friday. That is going to catapult you to take inspired action within the first 24 hours of watching that live presentation. There's bonus materials to help you hold yourself accountable and do this work on your own once the weekend workshop is over. I'm going to keep the Facebook group open for a full week, so if you have additional questions or any sort of insight that would be helpful for the group, you can share. And like I said in the last episode, if you are a woman who is either a member or a follower of Babes in Business in St. Louis, or if you are in the Facebook group called St. Louis Girls Network, or if you're a member or a woman who's attended an event held by Smitten Singles, you have a special discount of 50% off. Now, if you follow me on Instagram or if you're on my email list, you still have a chance to get this workshop at a VIP price. All you have to do is contact me either through Instagram, email, or within those 2 groups to receive your discount code. You can DM me at Reinventing the Arena on Instagram. You can also join my email list by going to my homepage, reinventingthearena.com, and scrolling to the bottom and join Lady Love Lessons. If you are already on my email list, find the recent email I sent out to you, whether that was a Lady Love lesson or a podcast episode release. Hit reply and ask for the discount code. All right, lady, if you are ready to find the man of your dreams and stop attracting the average Joe, it is time for you to sign up for this workshop. Like I said, this is part of my one-on-one coaching program. You're already getting this at an extremely reduced price. Plus, on top of it, you're in these groups or on my email list or a follower on Instagram. You're getting this at such a low cost that it would be crazy to not take advantage of it. All right, lady, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back with you next week with our first guest episode of season 2. Thank you for joining me on the Reinventing the Arena podcast. I'm your host, Molly Conley, a dating and relationship coach devoted to helping women reinvent their love lives. Tap the subscribe button so you never miss out on an episode. You can always find me on Instagram at Reinventing the Arena, or you can learn more by visiting my website, reinventingthearena.com. And know this, I 100% believe there is a man out there for you. There's no better time than now to believe it too. You can always reinvent your love life, lady, filled with clarity, connection, and confidence. Just take it one choice at a time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will chat with you again soon.